I thought weddings were supposed to bring families closer. I thought this day would be about joy, about new beginnings, about watching my daughter walk down the aisle with the man she loved. But what I saw in our living room just hours before the ceremony tore the meaning of family apart. I had gone downstairs quietly, searching for my cufflinks. The house was filled with the hum of preparations, hairspray hissing, heels clattering on hardwood, laughter spilling from the upstairs rooms. The chaos of a wedding morning. But the living room was different. Too quiet. That's when I saw them, my wife and my daughter's fiancé. They were sitting close, too close, their knees almost touching. His hand brushed hers, and instead of pulling away, she let it linger. The air between them was thick with something I couldn't pretend not to see. And then he leaned in, just enough to make my stomach drop. Her lips parted, not in protest, but in invitation. The world seemed to narrow to that one moment. My chest tightened, fury and disbelief roaring through me. I had given her everything. We had built this family together, raised our daughter with love, dreamed of this day for years. And here she was, betraying not only me but our daughter, shattering trust in ways words could never repair. I stepped forward, ready to confront them, the words already forming like fire in my throat. But then I froze. Movement in the hallway caught my eye. It was my daughter. She stood there, pale as lace, eyes wide, trembling as she watched the scene unfold. She had seen it too, her mother and her fiancé. The betrayal dressed in stolen touches and whispers. For a heartbeat, none of us moved. It was as if time itself had collapsed under the weight of shame. My wife noticed her first. She sprang up, stammering excuses, reaching out as if touch could erase what we all had seen. But my daughter stepped back, shaking her head, tears spilling silently down her face. The groom-to-be tried to speak, words tumbling clumsy and useless, but the damage was already carved into the air like a scar. I wanted to shield my daughter, to carry her away, to make her forget this moment. But how do you protect someone from betrayal when the betrayer is their own mother? She turned to me then, eyes searching mine, pleading for strength, for an anchor in a storm that no child should ever have to face. And in that look, I knew this wasn't about me anymore. My anger, my heartbreak, they had to wait. What mattered was her. I stepped forward, putting myself between her and the wreckage of her world. My voice was calm, though inside I was breaking. "Go upstairs, sweetheart," I whispered. "You don't need to hear this." She hesitated, her lips trembling, then nodded and walked away. Each step she took was heavy, carrying the burden of truth no bride should ever carry. When she was gone, I turned back to my wife. The silence between us was unbearable. Her face was twisted with fear, guilt, and something else, something selfish. She opened her mouth, but I raised my hand to stop her. "Don't," I said. My voice was low, steady, but edged with finality. "There's nothing you can say that will undo what she saw." The fiancé stuttered, begging forgiveness, insisting it had been a mistake, that it meant nothing. But I could see the lie in his eyes. You don't touch someone that way unless lines have already been crossed. I wanted to strike him, to drag him out of my house, to make him pay for destroying my daughter's dream. But I didn't. Instead, I told him quietly, "You won't be marrying her. Not today, not ever." The hours that followed were chaos. There was no wedding, no celebration. There were only phone calls to guests, tears in the bridal suite, and silence at the dinner table where joy should have lived. My daughter locked herself away, shattered, while my wife tried to plead with me, swearing it was a lapse, a moment of weakness, nothing more. But weakness doesn't happen in secret living rooms. Weakness doesn't ruin families hours before vows are spoken. Weakness doesn't smirk when no one is watching. I resigned myself to the truth. The woman I loved was gone, replaced by someone I couldn't forgive. And the man who was supposed to be my son-in-law? He was gone too, erased from our lives before he ever fully entered them. That night, as I sat outside my daughter's door, listening to her cry herself into silence, I realized betrayal doesn't just wound the betrayed. It poisons everyone around it. My wife had not only broken our marriage, but had stolen from our daughter the innocence of her wedding day, the trust she had placed in the man she loved, and the belief that family stood unshakable. I couldn't fix it. I couldn't give her back what had been taken, but I could be there. I could be the steady presence she needed when everything else collapsed. And so I stayed by her door all night, whispering through the wood whenever I thought she was listening, promising her she wasn't alone. Because in the end, love is not proved by words spoken in vows or smirks exchanged in secret. Love is proved by standing firm when betrayal tries to burn everything down. And while my wife had chosen betrayal, I chose my daughter, always my daughter.